It's that time of the year where we start talking about new flagships, and the first one to make an appearance has to be, or quite evidently, is the Galaxy S9. It's not a major upgrade over the Galaxy S8 in any way whatsoever, at least from the leaks that we've seen. More of an incremental one in terms of design, in terms of specifications, and I've written all about it in an article down below, so check it out if you want to know all of the technical details about the specifications. But this video is more towards focusing on the features that the Galaxy S9 should have to make it a true competitor in 2018. I think first and foremost is bumping up the refresh rate on the displays of the phones. So instead of having it to be 60 Hz, double it and make it 120 Hz. And we've seen this already on the Razer phone as well as the iPad lineup from Apple. And what it basically does is smoothens up the experience and makes it a lot more silky, you could say, and it really makes a difference when you're using it in first person. I can't really explain through the camera screen, but once you notice it, you can't really go back. And considering Samsung introduced the next revolutionary step of having infinity displays on their smartphones, the logical next step for them is to have these sort of displays to really elevate the experience. And considering also that the S9 is going to be an incremental upgrade, not much of a design change, the 120 Hz display is a great way to market the S9 to more people. To complement the screen experience, stereo speakers are a must, and considering how bright and beautiful the AMOLED display on the Galaxy series of phones is, stereo speakers is kind of a must. People have been complaining to Samsung on why they haven't introduced them so far, and I think on the S9 it is a logical step. Looking at a leaked box of the S9, we do see presence of stereo speakers powered by AKG, so that is obviously a positive sign, and it sort of brings Samsung up to the likes of the HTC U11 Plus, which has some great stereo speakers, as well as the iPhone X. So it's kind of catching up to this sort of competition, and with the stereo speakers, it will just make for an overall better experience. Now, I mentioned the iPhone X, I want to touch upon Face ID. Face ID, even with its fair share of flaws, has been revolutionary. It's pretty fast, it's accurate, and it's sort of reliable, and I think Samsung can learn from this sort of implementation. For years now, Samsung has been providing iris scanning. I think it was from the Note 7 that they started this, and of course, it's a good move in terms of progression, but they haven't really improved it to take it to the level of Face ID. And I think with the Galaxy S9, they can obviously do that. I'm really happy that Samsung has stuck to providing a fingerprint scanner on the phone and moving the placement of the scanner to where users wanted it. So props to Samsung for doing that. But I really want Samsung to improve the iris scanning experience as well, because iris scanning in itself is very, very secure. And if Samsung can make it as reliable as Face ID, as fast as Face ID, it could really compete with the iPhone X and Face ID from Apple. And by that means, they're reducing the competition even further. Pretty much the pressure is all on Samsung, and I want to touch upon the cameras here. And Samsung is trying to launch their flagships in a way Apple does it. So the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus have a single and dual sensor. In the same way, this time around, the S9 and S9 Plus will not share the same camera sensors. The S9 will have a single sensor. The S9 Plus will obviously have the dual sensor. That's how they're sort of differentiating the two phones. I'm not a fan of it because the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL have pretty much identical specifications, the only difference being the size. And I think most manufacturers should do that because you're paying a premium anyway. Why sacrifice on the features, and why get a bigger phone when you're not comfortable using it? But I'm not going to divert onto that. I'm sure most of the upgrade on the S9 will focus a lot on that variable aperture camera. But I don't really want to see hardware upgrades that much, and more of software upgrades. I want to really see the software being optimized with the camera. The Galaxy Note 8 was a great camera in terms of hardware, but when you compared it to the likes of the Pixel 2 XL, the dynamic range on the Pixel 2 XL outshine pretty much every other camera. And I want Samsung to do something like that. I want Samsung to bring in features like the portrait selfie, which doesn't require dual cameras at all on the Pixel 2 XL. Revolutionary. Sort of things like this that I want to see on Samsung phones, because I know they have the hardware to do it, they just don't have the software to execute it. And I hope Samsung does it this time around. And so to cap it all off, I want to see battery improvements. With last year's supercharge on Huawei devices and dash charging obviously on the OnePlus devices, Samsung kind of is a bit behind. Every single phone after the Note 7 blunder that Samsung has been rocking Quick Charge 2.0. And according to rumors once again, the S9 and the S9 Plus will still rock Quick Charge 2.0, which compared to the likes of dash charging or supercharging is a lot slower, and you don't want to be paying a big amount for you to get slower charging unless you're an Apple fan. I can't really do anything about it. But yeah, I want to see Samsung introduce their own sort of proprietary charging technology, which I'm sure they're capable of doing, or borrowing Qualcomm's, for example. Upgrade it to 3.0, upgrade it to 4.0. It really makes the consumer's experience a lot better, and I think they should get over the fact that the Note 7 has been in the past. It's almost been 2 years. They shouldn't really stick to that fear and just go at it and improve the battery on the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. That's really it. But as a bonus or two, I want to see Samsung introduce a new material for their phones, which is a lot more durable than Gorilla Glass 5, that doesn't scratch in 2 weeks and still facilitates wireless charging. And I want to see the software on the Samsung phone really accessible to newer Android updates, because let's face it, you get to wait a long time before you get the newest Android update, and by the time you get it, probably the new one is already out. So this sort of fragmentation needs to stop. The OnePlus 5T, which charges half the price for the phone, is already on Android Oreo, but the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus and even the Note 8, their Android Oreo updates seem a bit fuzzy. I think the S8 has just started receiving the Android Oreo update. But yeah, that is all that I wanted to address in this video. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your thoughts about the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus in the comments down below. Are you looking forward to them? Are you going to be buying them? All of that in the comments. Subscribe for more videos in the future. I'm going to try and follow an upload schedule, but I don't think that's going to happen. Anyways, thank you guys for watching once again. I've said that many times, and I'll see you in the very next video. Adios.